This is Coach Lee, and in this video, I'm going to reveal 5 signs that say your ex is ready to get back together. Take a quick second, click the subscribe button below so you can be notified when I have more videos like this. And be sure to click the notification option so you can be notified the second I publish a new video. I realize that if you've been broken up with and you want to get back together with your ex because you miss them, you love them, you think that there's potential still for the two of you, and you're not just seeing this breakup as a dead end, that you will probably be looking to them to see what they're doing and to try to interpret it through the eyes of what they're thinking about the breakup, if they're thinking that it was a mistake, or if they're thinking that they want to get back together, maybe, at least they're considering it. And so when you're looking for these things, a lot of times you wonder if this matters, or if that suggests that maybe they're beginning to change their mind, or at least considering things in a little bit of a different light. And so I wanted to share with you some signs that I've observed over the last 2 decades that usually say an ex is ready to get back together. Now, that does not always mean that you end up getting back together with them. It just means that their heart is ripe and fertile as far as getting back together. It doesn't mean that something crazy can't come up that nobody was expecting, that you weren't expecting. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they are set on getting back together with you, but it at least means that they are ready, that they are open, and that it's a possibility. And after I go over these signs, I'm going to kind of walk you through what you should do if you see these signs, because it doesn't always mean that you should just make a phone call and say, hey, so I guess you want to get back together now. That would be a bad thing. So let's go over these signs, and then I'm going to suggest some things you can do to improve your chances of reattracting your ex completely. The first sign, which a lot of you are reporting in the comments that you see and you're not really sure what to make of it, but the first sign is contact. They actually reach out. It could be a text, could be a call, could be an email, but it's something to where there is contact being made with you, there's communication. They are putting themselves in front of you and not afraid to interact with you. That's very important, because if they don't, it could mean they're afraid to interact with you, which might mean they think that you're going to freak out about it, that you're going to either pursue them too hard, you're going to assume the wrong thing, that they're leading you on, sort of. They don't want to lead you on. But if they contact you, it means they're not as concerned about leading you on, which is a good thing, because it probably means that they really mean that they want to interact with you. They really mean that there's a future. They're not afraid that you might be, quote, led on because there's nothing to lead you on about. They're serious about it. That's a strong possibility. Now, there's always the ex who's just kind of oblivious and doesn't seem to understand that contact with you means something, and that when they have chosen to break up with you, that choosing to interact with you doesn't really mix. Some people don't quite get that, but most of them do. And even if they don't quite get it, it's still a terrific sign, because they feel comfortable around you. They're not just wanting you out of their life. That's a good sign. Now, it doesn't mean that you should accept the status quo, that you should accept being some casual friend that they have a conversation with every now and then. I'm not saying that you should do that. But what I am telling you is that if you're looking for good signs that the future has some hope and potential of you two getting back together, them contacting you is definitely a good sign. Sign number 2. They share things that matter with you, because not all contact is the same. All of it has solid potential because of the things I've already mentioned, that they're not afraid of interacting with you, that they're comfortable interacting with you, they're not afraid of leading you on, they want to be in contact with you. That's certainly positive. But if they start sharing details about their life, things that matter to them, things that are happening, difficulties, positives, that's important, because it means that they are wanting to feel that intimacy with you. Because if we're just talking to strangers, we don't tell them how we feel about what's going on in our job, or how we feel about our parents' health problems, or those negatives like that. It's a very casual thing when you're dealing with a stranger. But when you have intimacy with someone, when you have shared experiences, when you have shared moments and thoughts and feelings and facts with someone, and you have that time factor, which is an intimacy builder, that's when you want to share details that matter. You want to feel that connection, that sharing things that are more than just how the weather's going, that's what you want to do. And so if your ex does this, that is a wonderful sign. And though it doesn't mean that you should start trying to pursue or really change up what you're doing, because after all, it's gotten you to this point. If what you're doing has gotten your ex to contact you, stick with it. Sign number 3 that your ex is ready to get back together. When they're talking to you, they start remembering things the two of you have done together. They start talking about when you went on this trip, when you went to this restaurant, when you had a walk out and saw the stars, or when the storm was so bad that you just stayed at home and watched movies. They remember those little things. And that, as with the sign previous to this one, is a sign that they desire intimacy. They are missing those things, those deep things. And think about it this way. If you're not interested in being with someone, why are you talking about these romantic experiences you had with them? Why are you remembering these things? Because when you remember, it's a way of re-experiencing it. And you only do that if you want to feel what you felt then, or if you want to try to learn something from what happened, or if you're doubting your response to this person. So any of those are better than them not remembering. And a lot of times when someone breaks up with someone and there's not much hope of the two getting back together, they don't remember. They don't talk about it. They are able to just dismiss it, just blot it out of their mind and don't come back to it. They don't revisit it. But when they do, especially when they talk to you about it, it's a terrific sign. It's a wonderful thing, which means they're probably ready. Doesn't mean they've acted yet, but they are definitely past just considering it and they are moving forward, even if it's just a very small step. Again, I don't want to just pump sunshine all the time. It doesn't 100% mean that you're going to get back together, but it sure means that they are on the field, that they're in the game again, that the earth is moving under your feet, so to speak, and there's strong potential. Sign number 4 is when your ex asks about your feelings. In other words, how have you been? Very casual, but still they're looking for something. They are hoping you will open up. Doesn't mean that you should completely. Remember, you want to be casual and polite about this. If you move too much forward, you're going to assume that role of pursuing and chasing them again, and the potential's there for them to run. So be careful. But if they are asking how you feel about things, if they start getting into, do you miss me? Or are you happy with your life? Or what do you see the future holding? That's in another video I mentioned. If they start asking questions about the future, what a great sign that is. And it is, but it sort of falls under this. They're asking what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what's going on with you, because they're testing the water to see how open you might be to getting back together. It's a great sign. Now, they are not all the way there yet as far as getting you two back together and them being the one to bridge that gap. But it's a great sign that they are considering it and that they're ready and they're close and that what you're doing is working. Before I mention the 5th sign, be sure to take a look at my emergency breakup kit. I link to it in the description below. And if you're enjoying this video, subscribe to this channel so you can be notified when I have more videos like it. Sign number 5 is wanting to see you face to face. They're wanting to have coffee. They're wanting to have lunch. They're wanting to be around you. And that's very important because we are triune beings, which means we are mind, body, and spirit. And you need all 3. All 3 is how you have true intimacy. It's how you have a relationship with someone that is strong, passionate, and can stand the test of time. And so when they start beginning to feel like or to think that they want to get back together with you, or they're at least considering it, they're going to want to be around you. They're either trying to figure it out or they miss you. Either way, it's a terrific sign. And when you get this message from your ex that they want to see you, even if they just kind of say, hey, do you want to have coffee or something like that, it's a terrific sign. Stay calm. And I talk about in my emergency breakup kit how you handle a face-to-face with your ex. But it's a terrific sign. And when you get this message from your ex, when they invite you there, that's when you can know things are really heating up and potential is really growing. Now, in terms of what to do, all of these signs that I mentioned, all 5 are terrific signs. That doesn't mean that you start saying to your ex, okay, so I'm ready to get back together, or okay, I see that you're ready to get back together. You still want them to be coming to you. You want to give them some progress. You don't want them to feel like it's a closed door, but you want things to move slowly. It needs to move, but it needs to be slow because they are less likely to trust it if it's fast, because the breakup didn't just happen overnight. They didn't just wake up and say, I think I'll break up with my girlfriend today. It was something that took weeks, months, or even years. And so if they get it back too quickly, first of all, they don't trust it, but it also can create kind of a buyer's remorse in that they have built this up in their mind. They've decided the breakup was a mistake. Maybe they've even worried about getting you back. They've probably feared that they could lose you, because once they have grown appreciation for you again, they wonder if breaking up with you is something that's going to make it where you don't want to be around them again and not ever give them another chance. And so they're moving towards you with hope, but with caution. And sometimes they're testing the water. And now here we go. If it moves too quickly, they almost feel like all of that was for nothing. That worrying about it was for nothing. That reconsidering was for nothing. That it was really easy to get you back. And this whole time, they've been worried about it. And so it cheapens getting you back. And I don't like that. I'm not saying that's how it should be, but that's how, emotionally speaking, a human is likely to react in this situation. And so, whereas I'm not saying that you try to make it difficult for them, you let things move slowly. And as I've said before in other videos, if they begin to start probing and you can tell they're wanting to see if you're open to getting back together, say that. Say that you're open to getting back together. You're open to seeing where it goes. You just want to take it one day at a time. That way, they are getting some progress, but you're not giving it back to them all at once, and so you're not cheapening it. If there's something to work toward, and there should be, you two should be moving slowly because something happened that basically threw things off the track. That's why this breakup happened. And so if you move too quickly, it's not good for either one of you. You want to move slowly so the ground underneath you is stable. But I know that that goes against what you're feeling because you want to get them back as quickly as possible. Ironically, this is not just how you can get them back quickly, but it's also how you can keep them long term. Let things move, but keep them moving slowly. And that's where that line that I mentioned, saying, I am open to getting back together, let's just take it slowly, is a terrific thing to say because it frames the situation. It frames their expectations. They don't feel like they've gotten you back all at once. They feel like there's a little bit of earning you back. That's important. One other thing is this. When your ex is doing these things, especially when they request a face-to-face, you might notice that they pull back just a little bit, that maybe you don't hear from them for a couple of days or maybe a little bit longer after seeing them. And really what that is they're reflecting, and it might be things moved a little quickly, and that feels odd to them because, again, like I said, they've kind of built this up. There's concern that maybe they couldn't get you back if you've been following the no contact rule, doing some of the things that I talk about. That's what we want them to think. We want them to realize that they could have messed up, that they could be losing you, and that you're strong enough to be away from them and to move on. And so if they are thinking that way, and that's part of the reason that they have moved towards you some and that they've shown these signs, then when they interact with you face to face, it's sort of like when something comes out of numbness, like when your skin's been numbed up for surgery and it comes out, it's hypersensitive. So even small things, there's a lot of sensation, a lot of energy, and it's a lot to take in. And so sometimes they kind of pull back a little bit. They're just trying to reflect on this and see what they still think and feel. They also don't want to move too quickly to push you away. So both of you are approaching this from caution. So a lot of activity, though it might feel good, can actually be a negative. That's why the slower you can move, the more that they feel like there's ground to make up. And so they're less likely to pull back. But if you overdo it a little bit when you're face to face, if you talk too much, stay too long, or begin to kind of share some of how you've missed them, or they can sense that from what you're saying, then there can be that pullback. Hopefully, it's not going to be too much because you don't overdo things because you've been watching some of these videos. But if you did, or if it's just a little too much, then there can be that pullback. Don't panic. Let the silence just kind of hang there. You're using no contact again to let them keep coming to you and not to push at them. They don't need to feel the pressure. They need to feel that there's a little bit of work to do on their end. That's what you want. And so that's what you can get if you stay casual and polite, like I've mentioned before, in terms of interacting with them. If you liked this video, click the subscribe button below so you can be notified when I have more videos like this, and hit that like button. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.